Welcome to our show, Checkpoint, the show where we discuss and discern the current events of the most recent episode of Check Please. Today we are discussing Check Please, episode 29 and 30. And I would love to welcome our members for today. I am Keni, your fortunate host. Down below me is Foaly as my co-host, hungry for answers.
Hello, Om Nom.
Xeno as our Swamp Witch Monger, and Beardy, that way, as our beloved DM Daddy.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. It's good to have you all today.
Of course.
Good to be here.
So I'm going to switch the music because that was just the scary music playing.
Oh, no.
Beardy, a.k.a. the God Who Talks. I love that caption is still up from the episode 28
Oh, no, it is.
broadcast.
Look, I got to have people remember it because it's going to be on his sweatshirt that's getting made.
I need to add it to the wiki in that case.
So excited.
The God Who Talks.
So
Anyway,
Weird
today
title.
we are actually going to be talking about episode 29 and 30 because we kind of decided to pass on just doing an episode for just 29 because it was very combat heavy and we thought that it wasn't gonna have much to talk about in one session with each other, so that's why we're kind of combining the two today.
and it flows very nicely into the events of episode 30.
It really, well, most of our events flow for the most part.
But it makes sense to talk about these two in unison.
It's very true.
Where do we start? Ooh,
Last
slugs!
episode.
Yeah. So,
I thought we were gonna fucking die during the slug attack.
They kept appearing.
The minute they started hitting Riz, I was like, I only got so much HP. If you hadn't have put that bear's endurance on me, I would have been dead in the second hit.
Yeah, I'm very pleased that I did. I'm very glad that I did. I'm like, right, Riz is squishy, and these things won't stop appearing. There are too many of them.
there were a lot of them, and they had a very powerful spit attack that was a touch attack, which was why they were so damn dangerous.
Touch attacks are crazy, man.
But then once the combat started, it was just like
Yeah,
it just
well,
kind of got stomped out.
I decided it's time to use all my fucking points to kill these things. One, we need that leader guy alive as much as possible.
Ambaxius.
Yeah.
We got some good survival checks from Vera. We could have made it.
I always want to call him Inconius, and I know it's wrong, so I just avoid saying his name.
I will
Iconius is a city, right?
I know.
I will say that when I was thinking about his name last episode for Ambaxius, I was like, is this the right name, or am I thinking of some other video game or some other podcast? And I was like, I don't want to be like saying some name that's from some other podcast.
Copyright strike.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how much of a copyright strike you can get from another podcast, though.
So
Even
Beardy, in specking out these slugs, Beardy, what were your priorities, and what did we as players do to piss you off to earn those slugs as an enemy?
No.
Why did you
nothing
feel
of
the need to
sort.
punish us, Beardy?
So it had been a long time since there was an actual combat, and
Like a really long time.
a really long time. And combat balancing for your party has been particularly challenging because you have very widely varying levels of combat prowess in the party. Mostly because of Archie, right? Like, he's just such an incredibly powerful character that balancing combat around Archie would make everything else way too difficult for the rest of the party. So it needed to be a lot of enemies that were maybe easy to kill, but would have a lot of damage output that was not based on beating an armor class, at least a normal armor class. Because Archie's AC, as well as Chisel's AC and Petravian's AC, are all off the charts. They're all incredibly good AC. So having enemies that are able to beat that is almost impossible without making something completely broken. So in order to do something, it would have to be an enemy that would be based off of hitting a touch AC. So in this case, something that would be spitting acid would make sense. So, you guys are in a sulfuric wasteland, acid spitting giant slugs makes perfect sense to me. So
But
just
they're
had
so
like 6 or
gross.
7 of them pop up, attack.
What you got
Kill
against
some people.
slugs?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
don't touch slugs. You'll get
Don't touch
Do not
diseases.
touch slug.
You
Do
get
not touch-
uncurable
slugs.
This is
diseases.
a PSA for children. Don't
PSA,
fucking touch them.
If you see a slug in your garden, you might get a parasite that will literally kill you within like
Don't
a week.
lick the banana slug because it'll numb your tongue.
Yeah. Don't ever eat a slug. Don't ever pick up a slug. Leave
I
them alone.
watched Monsters Inside Me.
Where were you guys,
Oh.
like, when I was in fucking Alaska, actually picking up slugs? There are slug races in Alaska for a festival called, like, the Blueberry Festival.
That's
Like,
great.
touching slugs was normal then. So
Oh yeah.
now I feel all weird about it. And I'm like, well, I'm glad
I mean, I
didn't
used
fucking
to
die.
pick up slugs, but like literally wash your hands really well and make sure it doesn't go on a cut.
I only wash
Yeah.
my hands well now because of COVID.
Because like you get those.
I never did it before. I went
Yeah.
20 straight years.
Stop! I'm trying to drink my tea here, my dude.
But yeah,
That battle though, that was
Yeah.
hard. I was very concerned, as I think Xeno mentioned, the fact that Ambaxius was kind of it was looking bad for Ambaxius.
Yeah. So
a few
if
points there.
if I could just peel back the curtain slightly, for me at least, when designing an encounter, a good encounter should always have a moment where you feel like, oh god, we're all going to die, and then another moment where you think, yeah, we're gonna fucking win this. And it's like, and if I can hit both of those points in a fight, I feel like it has accomplished its goal of being an exciting encounter.
Were you pleased
Yeah.
with how that encounter worked out then by that metric?
Oh.
Because I'm pretty sure we had those like a
Yes.
few of those points.
No, I think that worked out pretty well. Where there's always that moment of your stomach dropping where you think, oh, this is the end of the campaign, we're all going to die here.
Yeah.
And then realizing that, oh no, if we work together and use our abilities just right, we can totally
With
win.
the power of friendship, anything
exactly.
is possible.
Mhm.
Well, I
Teamwork
like-
and friendship, boom. And that's how the game works. It's good.
I love that it kind of provided an opportunity not just to try out a new spell, because yay, Flame Strike, that's awesome. But also to kind of throw in the lore that, oh, this spell is maybe the first that Kurla has encountered that actually like directly emanates from that which hungers, like it's coming from below instead of above, and that was, I think, Keni's idea, which I really love.
Well, I mean, now that we know where it is, I feel like spicing spells to make sense for like where your powers are coming from makes sense to me, at least.
No, I thought that was fantastic. I
I-
really liked that, and I think that'll have implications down the road. Plus the fact that like Kurla lost their shit when Riz got hit. I liked having that opportunity too. It's like, wait, you did what to my friend? No.
So it's I have fun spicing stuff, but that's for me coming from, I think, probably Risen a lot. I've done a lot of experimenting with how I describe things based on the gods. So I try to think about like each spell and which god would associate with it really well.
I think the spice works really well. I think it adds something to combat. It keeps combat interesting for the audience. Otherwise, combat could if it wasn't balanced correctly, and thank you, Beardy, for doing such a nice job balancing it, but
Thank you.
otherwise it could drag a little bit.
It's true, and a lot of the cases, I'm still learning on how to make combat interesting when it comes to spellcasting, I feel like. Because Riz was kind of a challenging character, and I feel like that's expanding how I describe things anyways. And it's hard to do like every single attack and describe it, because it's like, well, I just did a chain lightning earlier. You all know what it sounds like now. So I try my best to keep that at least interesting the best I can. And if I can like add a little extra spice to other people's, if they allow me to, without like feeling that I'm harshing on their turf, you know, I'm
Not at
happy
all.
to do it because I think it's very fun. And the more
I'm
fun we can
still-
make combat, the more fun it is for us too.
Absolutely, and I'm still very much a beginner there. I keep forgetting to include the material costs of my spells when I'm describing the spice, but it's something that I really like. What Xeno does with Thera and with adding all of the Maleferan bee spice to all of the spells and all the combat. I
Bee
think
spice
Xeno,
is
you've always
great.
done a really fantastic job with that, and I love hearing, oh, how's this going to work with bees?
Yeah,
Oh, thanks.
This
spiced
spell
honey.
with bees. And the fact that you brought in the incense in doing the spell in episode 30, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Yeah. So There's Spice is some of the most interesting stuff to me.
Right?
I feel like Xeno really like looks at a spell list and is like, all right, I'm gonna take the time to formulate what each of these spells looks like way before I use them.
Look, I want the spells to feel correct and natural to the character, especially since it's different for the Maleferan religion and stuff, like just how all the stuff works. So it's really fun.
That's really cool, and that's I think going above and beyond. I don't think everyone would necessarily do that. So,
and the more horror I can implant in this campaign, the better.
the more body horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Xeno's thing. Definitely not mine.
As much body horror as possible.
Like for me, I'm like body horror. Fuck that shit. I'm not interested. I'm like give it all to Xeno. Like if you're gonna do body horror, give that to him. He's gonna love it. He's gonna take it and have a great day. I'm like losing an iron arm. That good enough. That's the extent of where like my comfort with body horror goes for myself. I don't care if it happens to other people. Oddly enough, not bothered whatsoever.
I think we can touch on that point here in the near future.
It's true.
Oh god.
But speaking of our travels, after we defeated the slugs, we also heard a dragon call in the sky, and Curly even saw it. This like weird
Did I though?
red and yellow dragon?
I mean, I thought it was a dragon, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly how Beardy phrased it. I think you said it looks like a dragon, which...
Yeah, it definitely... I mean, it looked like a dragon to you. It was a dragon, but the color was weird, right? Like, there's no such thing as a yellow dragon.
Not yet.
No, I forget. I think it was a corroded one or something of a different color. Is that right?
Yeah, it might have been like a metallic dragon that had become corroded somehow, which would have been interesting.
I really wanted to talk to it.
Oh, God, no.
I love dragons so much. I really wanted to have a chat with it.
I hate dragons and D&D so much.
Us one day, and you're gonna regret that statement.
And I've continued
I'm sure.
to showcase that sentiment. Like, I love dragons, like, as a idea, but in D&D, they're terrifying. They're horrifying. They are... If you go against a dragon, they should kill you. That is what a dragon is supposed to do.
This is, again, me being a new player without enough experience. You know, if when I get killed a few times by a dragon, then I will learn to hate them within D&D. But right now, I'm still naive and innocent and love them as just a concept.
I mean...
You did travel with one in Season 1.
Yeah, but in Season 1 we were also like this close to dying from his mommy. So... Burr was just a baby. He was just a baby dragon, if not adolescent?
He was a young adult, I think.
Young adult?
Was his age
Okay.
category.
And, like,
We were practically adults.
in terms of, like, stats and that, like, in, like, 5th edition, like, something super, the lowest of the low, like, age-wise, let's say, like, a red dragon, I think, like, what's the youngest? That's a young hatchling or something? I think it's 150...
Wormling.
It's like 150 HP or something.
Wait, fucking what?
Damn.
No, it's not wormling, it's just, like, the youngest age class for, like, the CR list. It's, like, 150 HP still.
That's ridiculous. But then again, remember, in 5e, everything is an HP sponge. Like, that, they took HP for monsters and just scaled them up so high.
Yeah, their AC was lower and their HP
everything's
was higher.
Yeah, everything's AC is like
I think
hits,
it's so that people still get the gratification of hitting things.
So
I
everybody
do
hits
like
stuff.
hitting things.
And it's just like, it's just so skewed that way. There's just like, everybody's just constantly doing damage and
We're
everybody's
gonna
HP is
get
just...
in a conversation about you hating 5e though, so I would like to avoid that as much as possible.
No, I mean, look, that's a design choice. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's very different than the games I'm used to.
Okay. I
That's
just
all.
I try to keep you away from it.
I'm not.
Now let's talk about Star Wars, though.
No.
We'll rant about 5e and how it's evil, and so even if it wasn't necessarily a real dragon, or whatever was going on with it, maybe we'll encounter it again, maybe we won't. But I'm hoping that we'll at least meet. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to chat with it. I just want to hug a dragon.
Maybe don't hug that dragon, but
get one of the little like
go back to the
fairy
Merry
dragon.
Valley.
Is that what it's called?
Right, find a fairy dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, find a fairy dragon.
Wait,
go to
those are
Cider Vale.
things?
You can hug the. Yeah, those are like the familiars that wizards have.
Oh my god, I want one.
Yeah.
Yeah, play a wizard with a familiar. It's a fairy dragon.
Or just buy one.
You can hug one as a class feature.
Can you buy one? How much are they?
Well, that would be slavery. You know, they're intelligent creatures. You don't.
Can I buy one, free one, and ask it to be my friend?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay.
You can be free, but I prefer if you stuck around me and be my friend. Here's a flower.
That's such a curler thing to
And they
do.
curl up and fall asleep inside the flower.
Oh, all right. Moving on from.
Sorry,
I mean, Kenny, come on, you're with me on this.
this
You
is
love
my-
dragons too. In different ways.
Oh.
You love the dragons too, as frequently as you can.
I have only slept with one dragon, okay? And it wasn't a thing that I wanted to do.
One time.
One time.
That makes it sound very different.
It does actually. It makes it sound quite questionable.
Yeah. It makes it sound like it was a forced experience, and I don't know if...
Yeah.
It was very uncomfortable.
Oh, boy. We don't need to
Well,
get
that's
into the
main
mechanics
game,
of
though.
this. Anyway, moving on.
Moving right along. One of the high points of that episode, though, in terms of just the pure comedy, there's been some really great RP recently, for tragedy and drama, but the charades and Vera in particular
Yes.
This is
playing
wonderful.
charades, is I think,
Just getting annoyed
hilarious
at people.
and wonderful.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And everything was mellifera or bees.
No, that's what everyone guessed. It was only bees the first time. Then it was wasp and hornet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
can we
so
just
different.
admit that like Levette and Moira are just actually bad at charades? Was it really Vera that was the issue?
Well, Grem's not here to defend themselves, so we can say it if we want to,
Yeah,
but that's a
there we
little
go.
mean.
You
I-
can say it if you want to.
Vera definitely was of the opinion that Moira's impression of a boat was absolute garbage. So, and I have a good perception, so
That's true.
pretty sure I saw
Vera
that.
has some bomb ass perception as long
I
as you
love
roll
that
above
Vera
a
is
4.
so serious about everything, including charades and impersonations of boats. That has to be done properly, otherwise you're going to piss off the swarmmonger.
I love the fact that you're just during the dragon roar, you're like, that's unfair, you're not allowed to talk.
I forgot about
Some
that.
of the comedy from Vera, even if it's like deadpan and serious for Vera, is the funniest shit to me. Like, again, I will reinstate, Vera's still one of my favorite player characters because I could just listen to her at any moment and just be like, I'm having a great time. This
It's
bitch.
very quick.
Just watching a train wreck with
Constantly.
maybe less casualties,
Very
depending on
quick
the day.
wit. I dig it.
Yeah. And then later on, during that session at least, we got involved with a lot of fog, people randomly got kidnapped, and thankfully Naomi, thinking fast, left us a trail of her bandages for us to follow like breadcrumbs.
God bless that girl.
She's a smart kid.
She's wonderful.
So we followed it to a cave where we found hags. Of course, was it a new moon or a full moon? I do apologize. I think
A
it was
new moon.
It was a new moon,
New moon.
so it was
Okay.
very dark out that night.
So it was a new moon, which I learned that hags are very active during,
Yeah, they have a coven thing or something.
which makes
I
me
forget what it is.
wonder what was up with us in season 1 getting transported outside of that druid circle to that one fucking canyon area with the belays and shit.
Yeah, you'll have to ask me after season 2's over
Oh,
in our post season 2
I want to
wrap
know
up.
so badly. Like, that's one of the things that's been bothering me for years.
Why
Yeah,
don't we go
and-
back over there and destroy those ones too?
There you go.
Why would we
We
want to
probably
go
could
back to
now.
Parthenon?
Good. Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
Uh-oh. Maybe
But
we
those
shouldn't have an
hags,
entire
though.
campaign set in Parthenon.
No, those are different characters. I'm saying these characters currently. Why would we want to go to Parthenon?
Why would you go
Like,
there?
anyone
It's
go to-
terrible.
Or Deraham, for that matter. God, I
Yeah.
fucking hate the Derahamish.
find
They're
the book.
horrible.
The only
Sucks
reason to
enough
go to
bastards.
Dereham is to talk to Book.
Y'all always talking to Book over here.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, we can talk to Book. It's like, how would you think for your goddamn self?
Oh, but I like Google.
Someone watched Page Master too many times. You haven't watched that film, have you? Because it came out before
Sorry,
you were born. Yeah,
Is it a
damn it.
cartoon?
I think they made a
Partially?
SNES game on it.
Yeah, there was a tie-in game because that was in an era where everything had a tie-in game.
I think everything still should have a tie-in game on the SNES.
You might be, and as long as it's an SNES title, yeah, I'm down
Yes,
for that.
I'm in
But,
for it.
Vera, you mentioned I beg your pardon, Xeno, you mentioned enjoying hitting things, and I assume you meant in character as Vera, but
Yeah.
No,
Regardless,
he
that wasn't the joke I was making. That's horrible, Kenny. Oh goodness, but no, the hag. Let's talk about how you spec'd out these hags in combat, Beardy, because you spec'd out one like super ultra hardcore badass hag with all the really nasty abilities, and then I think it was Vera who one-shotted it.
That is correct. So, yeah. So again, coming up with a combat encounter that is both challenging and winnable, where you have a feeling of, oh no, we're screwed, and then having a feeling of, yeah, we've got this, is difficult. And for this fight, since it was a lot of casters, they typically are squishier, they're easier to kill, but they have a lot of damage potential.
Mm-hmm.
So in this fight, it was, I believe,
cannons.
3 hags plus their leader, because hags typically are they like things in threes. Their covens are usually divisible by 3. Their curses are based on the number 3. It's a whole thing. They have a weird connection with the concept of 3. And the leader of that group, because I wanted to find a hag that was higher CR, basically a more difficult version of a hag to run as the leader of that coven. And then I stumbled across a monster that someone else had created somewhere else and posted online, and I basically looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is a really interesting monster. And I changed some of the abilities and flavored it a little bit differently, because some of the things that were in the original description of that creature were a little bit further than I'm willing to go detail wise on certain things, which I can describe if you really care. But it was basically what was called a Trinity Hag, and it was the concept is it's when 3 hags fuse themselves together and they turn themselves into one united creature, and it gets additional powers and abilities.
Nasty.
Yeah, and it's super nasty. So I tried to flavor it as awful as I possibly could. So it was a lot of custom character, like a custom token creation, a lot of custom spells. I went through and I put everything in there, all the daily abilities, all the twice dailies, 3 times dailies, once per week. Everything was built into that monster. And combat starts, it gets around, it casts something to so it does its thing where it fuses 2 people that are standing next to each other. And then on Vera's turn, she casts Finger of Death and drops it in one shot.
I was gonna do Disintegrate if Vera didn't do Finger of Death anyway, so we have higher arsenal damage output.
Yes, but it gets a save, and it rolled a 3.
Ooh.
I rolled a nat 3 plus its modifier, so it would have survived on almost anything else. But I rolled low enough that it failed its save, and it dropped immediately.
3's an average roll.
First time you used Finger of Death?
I'm so sorry, Xeno. Yeah, that was the first time Vera had used that spell, and it was so fucking rad.
It was.
I know Xeno had told me, months ago that Vera had gotten it, and I forgot about it completely until they pulled it out, and I was like, oh right, that's their Disintegrate. Fuck yeah, that's metal.
I'm also gonna actually change it up a little bit, description-wise, because everything that Vera does is flavored in that power equals sacrifice of some kind. So I'm gonna have it literally take portions, it's gonna be riddled of holes, and the insects that come out will fill back in and then repair the hole that's in the arm or whatever.
Ooh.
You just love your fucking body horror.
It's cool. Yeah. What can I say?
It's cool for other people, not for me. Not for me. I'm just gonna reiterate that, Beardy. Not for me. Thank you.
Okay. Well, so speaking of body horror,
but I'm very glad
that brings us to what that hag, that Trinity Hag did. So it cast a spell, and literally fused Riz and Kurla together, their flesh magnetized with each other, and they splorched together into one jumble of arms and legs and heads. And luckily Kurla was able to immediately cast Greater Restoration,
thank you for letting me do that, by the way. I appreciate that.
It's all good.
I'm not sure as a player whether I should have let that play out more, just for the interesting kind of...
I mean, honestly, it was certainly a situation. I'll put it that
I
way.
wasn't gonna do anything until after combat was over, because Risen was like, I can still cast spells. So they didn't give a shit at first.
Yeah.
Because they're just a pragmatist, so it's like, why would I care right now when there's something that's more important happening? I'll just take care of, killing these things. That is my ultimate goal right now. So they didn't even, think about it in the moment. They were just like, okay, Curl's not going to do anything weird. I want a zippy zap.
I'm happy that we're getting closer, but that was a little bit too close at that point.
So Riz just, in general, probably would have been the character to not care the most out of other people. They're so indifferent about so many things. It's very weird playing them, because I feel like if I had done something like, let's just have an example of Jackie, he would have been so upset about it and been like, oh, my body, my beautiful, perfect body. How could this have happened to me?
I think in character, Curler is kind of tired of things being done to them without their say-so, so I think that kind of would explain why they reacted as quickly as they did. I think, in all honesty, though, I was thinking more as a player, oh shit, this is nerfing so many of my abilities. And this isn't... And you hadn't done Finger of Death yet, so I thought, fuck, we need to sort this out now, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to help in this combat, and this combat
I was
could
told
go
I
really
could still, cast spells, so I was
quickly.
like, I'm good. I can still kill things. I'm a glass cannon for a reason, baby. My armor level going down slightly? Oh no, I'm still a fucking caster.
Yeah.
I was
my
concerned that we
movement
would,
speed is 5 feet per round. Whatever.
The
All
two
my
squishiest
spells?
people stuck together, though, and I wouldn't... If we died, I couldn't have healed us, and I'm the healer, so it's like, no, we gotta split apart quickly.
Would we have died together? Did our HP get combined?
So, yeah, you technically become one entity.
Okay.
So yeah, your HP would combine.
Oh, okay.
Had you guys not gotten out of that quickly, I would have probably gone to more detail to explain your new situation, and I would have created an amalgamated character sheet for the two of you.
Ooh.
Interesting.
That you both would have had access to.
Damn it. Why did I fix it so quickly? What's wrong with me?
Because it would have probably just had an average HP between the two of you, so I just would have took the middle point between your both your max HPs.
Well, I'm sorry ahead of time for my
I would have
shitty
gone through your
HP.
I would have gone through your stats, and you would have kept your mental stats, but I would have taken the average of your physical stats together. And then you would have had some. I would have probably described the more actual composition of how you were arrayed.
I will say that had you not separated, Vera would have tried an augmented swarm skin on one of you to see if I could separate one of all the matter of one of you.
I was gonna try polymorph, which I still haven't been able to pull out of my sack yet.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a fun
That's
spell.
I've been
spell.
holding on to this one because I'm like, I want to make sure to use this for a good reason, because I really try not to use my 7th level spells for specific reasons. And now in the future I might have to use that for a very special reason anyways, so...
Could you turn me into a dragon?
I can actually turn you into a dragon.
Awesome. I'm tempted by that, but I'm even more tempted simply for the Warcraft 2 reference for you to turn me into a sheep, because that's what the polymorph spell in Warcraft 2 used to do.
I don't know if that's on my list of things I can pull. I think there's a list.
I mean, the spell you're thinking of is specifically in that one would be Baleful Polymorph, which I believe is also level 7, but let me double check.
Yeah, I have Greater Polymorph, so I'm not exact.
Greater Polymorph?
Yeah, I have Greater Polymorph.
Okay.
In any case, we with Vera's ass-kicking Finger of Death, we did whoop three of the hags, the main big hag, and then 2 of the other 3, and then 1 fled, which I know pissed Risen and Keni off.
Oh no, hags are in the same level as ogres for me, where I think they should not exist. In setting, they just hurt people for no reason. Just cause.
Yeah, I mean, they epitomize a hag. You can think of it like this. So a demon epitomizes being lawful evil. A devil epitomizes being lawful evil. A demon epitomizes being chaotic evil, and a hag epitomizes being neutral evil. They are selfish creatures, to a fault. They are completely that is their existence, is total selfishness neutral evil. That is all
Okay.
they care about.
So
They deserve to die.
They delight in tormenting others because they can.
They
See-
put Naomi in a pot. They deserve to die for that. I agree.
Yeah.
they skinned someone and ate his eyes. Like,
But he got better.
but all I
It's impermanent.
these are the moments where I'm like, oh, Riz is still a good person because they at least believe in these things. They do some fucked up shit, but they have some standards where I'm like, yeah, they're still their true neutral form.
Secret softy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Secret
I'm not a
softy.
secret softy. I've never
You
been
were
a secret
booping Kurla's nose endlessly.
We'll
You're a
get
secret
to
softy.
that. But
But Naomi in a pot.
yeah, I mean, like, I kind of expected that with hags. You know, they're like
Yeah,
evil
we-
witch is kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
so
we
like,
we saved Naomi from taking a bath. It was good.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
fine. She's fine.
Mhm.
But again, like I said, hags and ogres are two of the creatures so far, at least in our campaign setting, where I'm like, if given the chance, I will try to eradicate that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're awful.
I was teasing with the racist comment. I'm right there with you. I believe in killing Shrek. Let's end that green bastard.
Let's get
He's-
Shrek. And
He's
here's
over
from
21 years old. He's lived his life.
and here's from someone who has a story about a character with an ogre. Anyways,
It was very sweet.
it was a very sweet story.
Yeah,
The
very sweet
only
story.
chill ogre.
The only chill ogre.
The only chill ogre. That's the story.
That's the name of that's the title of the book.
Yeah, that's the title of the book.
Oh. But we rescue Naomi and we discover Naomi's terrible, evil, awful, horrid secret, which wasn't actually all that evil or horrid or nasty. And
It
I
was
was
pretty
very
gross.
She
concerned.
was just trying
Turned
to blend
out-
in, my dudes.
Turned
I know,
out
I'm
all
teasing.
along she was just a plucked chicken.
Just a chicken nugget.
Just a
Yeah.
just a boiled
Just a
chicky nuggy.
Just a chicky nuggy.
Soggy chicky nuggy.
It's a soggy chicky nuggy. That's it.
Well, so that
Marcus
kind
was
of
a
leads us
crispy
into
chicky nuggy.
to episode 30 because we rescued Naomi at the end of 29, and
Mm-hmm.
episode 30 we discover the crispy chicken nuggies
Yeah,
backstory a little bit.
Soggy
beg
chicky
your pardon.
nuggy.
Oh, goodness. Which is not, thankfully, that there was self-harm involved, which I know that a lot of us were worried
I
about.
wasn't. I
But-
try not to like jump to conclusions until like a character tells me what's going on. Like I'd rather have my reaction just be genuine in the moment and be like, "Oh, that's why you're doing that? Well, like let's talk that through." Or
Mhm.
if it's a natural thing, it's like, "Hey, that sucks. I mean, we can think of a solution if you want, but if you're like okay with yourself, like there's nothing wrong with that." Like
And that's kind of the approach I tried to take later when we were talking, and Kurla offered to work with them, sort of if they wanted to investigate healing, but if not, then that was totally cool as well, because I think that's...
which I thought was very sweet.
Mhm.
But yeah, she's got a sort of alopecia, a harpy alopecia thing going on. Is that the word I'm looking for here? The
Yeah.
hairlessness?
Yeah, the hairlessness.
Featherlessness.
So yeah, there's actually a condition that certain parrots can get that I kind of base this off of,
Okay.
where they will lose their feathers at a young age, and they're just not able to grow feathers again. Like they just
So they can't
their
fly.
follicles just stop working, and they're just featherless the rest of their lives. And they still live there's videos of featherless parrots, and they still live like happy lives as pets. So I figured that would be kind of sort of what I would envision Naomi to be like at this point, is sort of being like the featherless harpy, but she's going to run around on the ground, and it's not going to slow her down.
Which is awesome.
Also, I thought it was interesting that she found like her birth father in
Mhm.
Backfield.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
That makes me like
So-
him more,
Should I
and it
get that
fleshes him
name?
out too. It's like, yeah, he
Ambaxius,
was
yeah, that's
he,
the-
he had no reason to necessarily do that, but he did because he's
Yeah.
a nice guy.
Well,
Good for
yeah.
him.
I thought it was
Because-
really sweet.
It was.
yeah.
It was adorable. It was lovely.
Because the idea is like in their society, it's not like it's not only is it not expected, it's discouraged actively. Like that is not part of the responsibilities of anybody. Like that, like it is a transactional thing, and then when it's over, and that is gone, right? So in this case, having Ambaxius like give any shits about this is kind of says something about his character.
Yeah, I I adored it, and for one thing, because it was very unusual. And personally, playing a harpy already that does unusual things, I always like it when characters like kind of break the status quo a little bit of their like racist stereotypical stuff.
Lavi.
Yeah, Lavi does a lot of stuff that's very unusual for a harpy, so it's really nice to see another harpy kind of doing that, and I'm just like, baby.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, Beardy, though, with it being sort of culturally discouraged. Would you say it's sort of taboo? Would it even go that far?
Yeah.
Because it speaks to how desperate Naomi was in that situation, but also how resilient they were, that they were willing to go that far and they didn't give up. They were like, okay, well, I'm going to think way outside the box, but I'm not going to just accept this. I'm going to make this work.
Good. She was so focused on being able to make some money for her family that she found the only contact she might have possibly been able to have on the surface, and that was with her mom's ex-mate.
And just to check, because I want to just know this just in case so I was understanding it correctly. She had 2 moms and one of them died, so now it's just a mom and 3 siblings.
Yeah. She has she has mother and mom. Okay. And mother did not birth her. Mother was mom's mate.
I just wanted to check with that because I was like, I'm probably getting it right, but I just want to make sure that I am.
So the standard is mother is the more formal title, and that's what you give to the one that is typically your actual biological parent's mate. So her mother died when she was young, and she doesn't really exactly know how. She just went on an expedition and didn't come back, and was told that she was dead. Her mom tried to raise the kids as best she could, but without much of an income, they weren't really able to make ends meet, and it was just a bad situation. And then on top of that, Naomi has this wasting disease that they couldn't do anything to stop, so she decides to, do the only thing she could think of, which was to go and try to track down her mom's old mate from the surface that was, essentially her father, and try to see if he would be able to help.
I wonder if this this sort of iconoclastic streak runs in the family, and if any of those siblings are any relation to Lavi, who we see a few generations later.
I thought you were gonna say Soul. I was like, no, I don't want to think about it.
that non-conformist streak.
Yeah.
I still fear the day that I have to deal with a Soul spawn harpy from when Soul was bent.
Soul's harpy progeny. I'd forgotten about that, but that's.
It was a weird
day.
They
may or may not exist.
Season 7.
Season 7.
They may or may not exist. That's all I'm gonna say. But if you ever see harpies that look very similar to Soul, there you go.
So Naomi's backstory was very, very cool, but then we also found some, well, I would say they're cool items, but they're also cursed items. But, cool things are cursed. No, cursed things are cool. Speaking for Risen and for Kurilla. But
blurst.
Yeah, those 6
They're
objects.
Blurst
I like
items.
blurst.
Blessed and cursed items.
Blurst.
So, Beardy, what were your how did you determine what items that you wanted to create, and what was your envisioned distribution of them? Because I get the sense from that not all of the items ended up where you expected to.
No.
Talk to me about that.
Honestly, yeah, it kind of went out of control pretty quickly. So my initial plan is I was going to throw in like 6 items or so, and I wanted a couple of them to be legitimately good, and the rest of them to be cursed. And the way cursed items work is they have 2 different identified DCs. One to identify them as the wrong thing, and a much higher DC to identify them as a cursed item. So, of course, hags being evil, they're going to make cursed items because they throw them out in the world to spread misery and pain because they're awful. So
sounds fun.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
And then they might have a
Sounds
couple
like that
items
much
that they had taken from people they've fought and killed or whatever at certain points. So that's how they got some of those legitimately good items, like the Celestial Shield that you found.
Yay for that, thank you.
So the idea was I wanted to have a bunch of cursed items and a couple good ones. And the distribution I had in mind was that Vera would end up with the Helm of Opposite Alignment, because making Vera into lawful neutral, I think would be fun, even for a little while, to basically make Vera lawful.
I don't even know how much it would change, because Vera already functions through a code, so I don't even know.
Yeah.
I always wonder that, because I'm like, is Vera actually just true neutral sometimes, I wonder?
Vera just goes around the alignment table, wherever the fuck she
it depends
wants.
on like how she's feeling during the day and who annoyed her.
and the worst person that could have ended up on would have been Petravian, which is where it ended up. And he just plunks it on immediately.
And
switches his alignment from lawful good to chaotic evil.
Honestly, I kind of love that we didn't double check things, because one, Risen would never do that, because they're just like, I am who I am, this is exactly what it is.
It's kind of like, I think it's annoying when, like, you go up to a door and you roll horribly, and then someone's like, oh, let me check. It's like, fuck you, I already checked. Well, you don't trust me?
Like,
I'm really
yeah, exactly.
glad.
And it's that level of metagaming is always kind of messed up. So I'm glad that it didn't end up like that in our game, because it would have ruined a lot of really fun situations that happened, like that girdle of malleable form.
Oh my god.
Like if that didn't happen, this entire episode would be very different.
It would have been, yeah.
Like we spent the entire episode with this entire shenanigan.
Like it lasted so much longer because we had to deal with one evil Petravian and two body transferring Petravian, and I am ready for him to look like me so
Hasn't happened
bad.
Yet. So having the belt of malleable form, that was one that I thought was interesting. That's the one I intended for Petravian to hit, because I spiced it as a straight up upgrade to his current belt. So I figured, of course he'll take it. It's a straight up upgrade to his current belt. He would want that. So he switches out his belt of physical perfection +2 for the belt of physical perfection +4, snaps that on, and then of course it immediately locks to him. And then after that, the way that works is any person he's touched that day, he has a chance of just having their body the next day. So he just wakes up in their body. Yeah, I know, right?
Sorry.
We're children.
So,
and, oh my god, I just realized.
What?
Okay, so in the coming days, there's a chance he might turn into one of those guards.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, what the? We have to kill this guy.
Like, we have to go and save Petravian.
How do the Proteans feel about changelings? This could be very, very bad.
I mean, most of them are dead.
Spoilers. Also, Screwy says, I'm nothing if not predictable. Bless you, Screwy. You were a very good sport yesterday.
Still don't understand why he grabbed the doll, like, just for gits and shiggles, but, like, boy, he, like, 3 cursed himself.
That was the other one, is the Needful Doll, which was the only one you knocked out the DC for to figure out was cursed at the time. Which I honestly thought this, like, and that was the first one you identified. So I was like, well, fuck, now they're going to know they're all cursed because they hit the first one. The first one was cursed.
I just thought it was going to be cursed anyways because it was creepy.
Yeah, it's a creepy doll, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's a cursed item even without any magic on it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not grabbing this no matter what.
So you're like, oh, of course, this is the one cursed item. So, I mean, I assumed you all would be like, okay, we saw this one's cursed, so now we know to be very careful since cursed items are in play, and then just, like, go and, like, have everybody check everything, like, multiple times to make sure. And luckily you didn't do that.
So. Although I did predict, like,
the coin.
I was like, I'm not touching that because it might be cursed.
Yeah, so then I get the single copper piece.
I was this close to grabbing it, but because I'm trying to be a better person, I didn't.
I mean, it wouldn't have hurt you if you picked it up.
Yeah,
until it put it into, like, a pouch or something.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Well, no, as long as you have it on your person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
it
doesn't.
I don't have a lot of gold on my person normally.
Yeah. But that was one that I was happy to see in play, and it didn't work out that way.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Yet even without picking up that coin, Riz was still willing to divest themselves of funds. If we're going to move on to that, did I miss any cursed objects? Did we talk about any of the other ones?
You didn't get any.
I didn't.
Yeah, the fact that somehow you avoided it.
Well, and
so,
I would have taken that helmet, but Vera couldn't.
Yeah,
just mechanically.
And that's the thing. I should have flavored it as being made of, like, bone, like it being like a circlet made of bone or something, and that would have probably been, like, made of, like, twisted horn and bone, and that would have been a much better item. So that's my bad for forgetting that you
Our druid.
can't wear metal.
Wait, what's
so that's
Pedro's
my
helmet
B.
doing in here?
Yeah, so so I intended that one to end up on Vera. I intended the girdle to end up on Petravian, and I wanted the coin to end up in Riz's inventory.
Well, you gave me the crystal ball though at the same time.
The crystal ball
true.
also was going to go in your inventory as well.
And it did.
And it did, but you didn't use it before
No.
everyone realized that they were all cursed.
That's close.
It was very close. I was really looking forward to that one.
Well, I forget. What does suggestion do?
It's like a charm
So-
spell.
It's a charm spell that allows someone to implant an idea in your head to make you do a thing against your will. And since it's not going to work now, I can go ahead and talk to what that was going to be.
Ooh.
Please.
Which you guys noticed that after episode 29, you defeated that Trinity Hag,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you were into episode 30 and exploring the cave, I mentioned that the corpse was gone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There was no trace of it. It's because the Trinity Hag is not dead. You
Wondered
did
about
not
that.
actually kill the Trinity Hag. The Trinity Hag was actually only reduced to 0 hit points. The Trinity Hag actually had 150 HP. You reduced it to 0, and she dropped. She basically flopped. Is that the word? Is that the proper word for taking a fall?
Hmm.
It's just a
Yeah.
soccer term. I'm sorry. Is it flop?
Uh,
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So- She acts like she dies, uses her innate ability of greater invisibility on herself, and gets the fuck out of there.
Nice.
Because she has regeneration. So even if you actually did kill her, she would have regenerated and come back to life. So
Should've
she
just
leaves.
disintegrated her anyways.
So she leaves and leaves that in hopes that Riz uses the crystal ball, because after having seen Riz and Kurla and Vera, all three ostensibly female characters, very powerful female characters, she was going to implant into Riz the compulsion to gather the three of you up in one place so that she could meld you into another Trinity Hag.
Oh,
that's
shit.
terrifying.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome, and yet
Yeah.
horrifying.
It didn't work out.
Still, though, that's fascinating.
It's a lost opportunities.
In another
Reese's and
universe,
Pieces.
in another universe, a very different episode ensued.
I was close to actually using it that night though with Naomi when I asked, "Oh, have you been able to like be in contact with your family in the
I
Sarkin
thought you were
Mountains?"
building towards that. Yes,
I
'cause
was
you could
this
scry
close
on
to
them and show
scrying
them.
on them just to check up on them for her.
Mhm.
But she was like, "Oh, we letter each other." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's fine."
I had the same thought. I was always going to suggest that, so I'm so pleased that we
Yeah.
didn't. But 5,000 gold, eh?
This
You couldn't have gone up to 10,000? I mean, come on. What are you, cheap?
I thought that was a lot for Risen. Y'all gave me
Teasing.
so much fucking shit for Soul giving someone 100 fucking gold for a tip, and now you're like, 5,000 isn't enough, Kenny.
It's not
What
even
are you, an
enough.
asshole?
5,000 gold.
First of all, Riz is an asshole.
Mhm.
So
But a wonderful one. And our
Yeah.
asshole.
But Naomi already said 5,000 gold would be enough to outfit an entire caravan, so it's enough to get her well on the way to becoming a very profitable.
I just didn't want to
Business.
seem like I was just gonna like completely fund her because I was like, I want to sponsor you. I want to make sure you're gonna make money on your own because I didn't want to make it seem like it was just like a pity gift, you know?
Hmm.
I am surprised that she took the gift because it's the exact same offer you gave last time. And last time she was like, "No, I have to do this on my own."
Yeah, I had offered to sponsor her like a couple episodes ago, and she was like, "Nah, I gotta do it." And I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
now that we know your secret, maybe I'll try again."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's the fact that you were a lot closer after that. You had just
Mhm.
saved her life. She didn't think that it was out of pity anymore, necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of cut through what pride she had, stopping her from accepting it before.
But yeah, right. And that child is either dead or a warlord at this point. So
Crime Lord. I would say Crime Lord
Yes.
more than likely.
Ah,
definitely
dear,
crime
oh
lord.
dear.
Yeah.
So that happens, and it's very sweet. A really lovely moment.
It was this
Well
lovely
done there.
moment. She named her. She's gonna name her caravan after Fortune's favor, the
Which
name
is
I gave the
cool.
group, and I am so fucking stoked. Also, the joke about Fortune's
Fortune's
flavor was
flavor.
amazing. By the way, like I kind of want to see it happen though. I kind of like. I didn't want to say it in game because I was like, I can't do this right now. But I was thinking about it all night. I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see it.
So everything's going swimmingly, though, for Fortune's favour. They even have a trading company named after them, or they will do soon. And then the next morning hits.
Yep.
Petravian's a little shit.
And Petravian wakes up in Levette's body.
Now,
And he just starts yelling at me.
When you said that they were like little again, and that their voice was little again. When you said that they got smaller and that their voice was lower, that's where I was going with that. I thought that it was some sort of age regression thing going on.
I thought they turned into the doll.
I thought they turned into the doll.
Yeah, because you said that the skin was soft, and I was like, he turned into the doll.
I thought he would be unable to move, and Petra's body would look at him, smile, and go into the.
Like I thought it was some
room.
like weird like goosebumps bullshit that I wasn't mentally prepared for.
It's not that bad, actually.
Oh, Goosebumps, like, scared the shit out of me as a small child. Maybe they're just not as scary as I think they are, but, like, ugh, I hate dolls. I hate dolls so much!
Actually, like, other than aesthetic things for me, Vera would probably be the best person to get that, just because I can just go into swarm form and just function normally.
Yeah, the change body thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't like it just because I like the visuals, like, the aesthetic that I have made for Vera.
Yeah.
But it's hitting Petravian hard.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I have the complete ability to change him back as soon as we get a limited wish scroll. I'm hoping with the greater polymorph, that might add a little bit easier to fixing it too, instead of just regular polymorph. I don't know.
We just need to find a trader that has a scroll
of limited fucking wish. Where the fuck are we gonna find that? Jesus.
Maybe the largest city in the world, not just the southern continent, but the largest city in the entire world.
Yeah, I mean, a large city would probably have something like that, but also wish spells are both divine and arcane, so you could probably get a wish spell from a church as well. Big church would have stuff like
We
that.
could trade fortunes for it, maybe.
So what church would be big enough to have that, like, powerful of a spell?
Oh.
Eden is the biggest one, but
It's a good thing you know an alien in
like,
Eden, then.
I mean, yeah, you could go to like, the Holy City, and there would be places you could buy one of those at a temple.
Yeah, I don't think.
Or you could go to Proto
really
and
have
buy
one.
stuff, buy it in Proto too. I mean, it's up to you guys how you want to do it, but it's not an impossibility to acquire item for sure. It's going to be a little on the expensive side, but you can definitely get it. It's a 7th level scroll, which
I mean,
the list here.
I've
You're gonna
already
make Petra
spent
pay for it, right?
I've already spent $2,500 on incense to fix
Yeah. To
Petravian's alignment.
Yeah.
And I mean, Riz is being generous. Riz will pay for it.
It'll cost about
Wish.com.
yeah about 2,500 gold.
Oh, that's chump change. I mean,
So
Riz just throws that
how much
around,
is
giving
it?
it to random harpies.
2,500 gold. So
What?
about the exact same you already spent on incense.
God damn.
That's like the same price as a sending scroll, ain't it?
Sending is what, 5th level?
Wait, what does limited wish do?
Not. It's been a while since I've looked at it, to be honest, but I've
Limited wish.
been
Well,
planning
setting
on
aside-
getting it eventually.
Because first of all, I feel like it should be impossible to get a wish spell anywhere.
So a limited wish spell duplicates any sorcerer or wizard spell of 6th level or lower. Duplicates any non-sorcerer or wizard spell of 5th level or lower. Duplicates any sorcerer or wizard spell of 5th level or lower, even if it belongs into an opposition school. Duplicates any non-sorcerer or wizard spell of 4th level or lower, even if it exists in one of your opposition schools. Undo the harmful effects of many spells, such as insanity, and produce any other effects whose power level is in line with the above effects, such as a single creature automatically hitting its next attack, or taking a -7 penalty on its saving throw. So it's not, it doesn't specify what it does. It gives you a grid of effects that it can fit into, and then you can wish for it. So it also can duplicate any effects with material components up to 1,000 gold pieces.
Because wish is just game breaking, isn't it?
It can be.
It's gonna wish Tarask into.
Yeah, so wish duplicates spells of 8th level or lower, or 7 if they're of opposition, or like so. It's basically the same as limited wish, but instead of being 6th level or lower, it's 8th level or lower.
Mm-hmm.
And then it can also do some following things. It can grant a creature a +1 bonus to an ability score. It can remove a lot of different injuries and afflictions. It can revive the dead. It can transport people from one place to another, and it can undo misfortune, curses.
Reviving the dead? I mean, come on, that's fucking child's play. Who can't do that?
Yeah, I believe Riz eventually is planning on learning Wish, regular Wish. So.
And then it covers a material cost up to 10,000 gold pieces.
So this is all how we're going to end up fixing Petra, but how about, when we first realized that there was an issue with him that morning?
I actually...
Because Screwy did a fantastic job playing Piss. He was, why is Petra being so angry? What the fuck's wrong with him?
Yeah, well, I just thought it was Scurry just genuinely not wanting to be in Levette's fucking body, and I was like, maybe we should, pause and unpack that, my dude.
Yeah, we need to unpack this, because, I really hate gnomes that much.
You're really angry about this, to the point where I'm like, are you still in character, or are you really upset that you are no longer playing, Petravian's body? Do we need to pause? I was very much so on the level of, are we good? Are we good?
I checked in with Screwy as well because I was a little bit worried.
Yeah, I was
He was
worried.
getting pissed off with us, riding him too hard about stuff. It's like, you alright?
Are you okay? I was like, I don't know, maybe it was cathartic for him to get, this anger shit out, because he takes a lot of shit from us. So I'm like, I hope that was good for you, my dude.
So he could throw some shit back at us.
Yeah, totally.
It was fantastically done, though. I mean, really well done.
It was
the fact that you made us worry to that degree.
Yeah, to that degree.
Nice acting.
It was very fun playing Risen with that, though, because they care about people being assholes, but not in the sense that, most people would react, where they're like, why are you so mean, or something like that. Instead, they just took, a more amused stance on all of it. It was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, y'all just making fun of Petravian as they're going through this crisis.
He started yelling at me first, so Risen's reaction was, oh, you're being an asshole? Fine, I'll do the same.
I think the only one that actually had a caring reaction was Vera.
Well, yeah, your siblings, of course you care.
Yeah. I mean, I might have cared, but then you were rude to Riz, and that
he
doesn't
did call
sit
me
well
a
with
hag.
And we just got done killing hags. You can't
do
that.
That one was a little hurtful, where Riz was like...
You just saw how terrible they are.
I was like, look, I change form all the time. I don't know why you're freaking out that much, because we can help you with that.
But he continued his assholish ways, so we had to charm monster, which failed again.
No, charm monster
hold
worked.
Hold monster.
Because hold monster never works.
Because hold monster never works, but chains of light works.
I should have upped that DC, because he would have missed if I had done 2 of those. You're fine, Screwy.
Yeah, you're fine. Screwy, that was fantastic. You did really well. You don't need to be sorry. Petravian needs to be sorry, little bastard.
So, we got him in a chains of light. We figured out what was going on. He's cursed, doubly cursed, triply cursed, actually, with the doll.
Welcome to the Cursed Club.
Yeah, welcome to the Cursed Club. We're so glad to have you.
We should have t-shirts made.
Cursed Club? Oh, that would be fun, actually. I'm still trying to figure out if Vera's cursed, to be honest, but that's me.
Why would it be cursed?
I don't know. I just have this gut feeling something's wrong with you.
Fuck off. Wow, what a shitty thing to say.
Wow. So Petravian secretly hates Levette, and Keni secretly thinks something's wrong with Vera.
As you do. Look.
But we got him all locked up in chains, and then something happened that made made Kurla slightly jealous, because suddenly, by way of a wonderful little charm spell,
Petravian was my best friend.
Suddenly, Petravian was Riz's best friend, and vice
still my
versa.
Best friend.
Yeah, and they were suddenly sharing all kinds of interesting pieces of truth with each other.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Scree, but it was an opportunity I could not miss.
Oh my god, we got so much juicy details
so
out of here.
Much shit out of him. I was
including
I got a crush on Vera. And also, I'm trying to figure out if Petravian doesn't actually like Hummel after the reaction from evil Petravian. I don't know if this was just Screw's interpretation of what evil meant.
It seems like it's more of a physical attraction or something to
instead
Hummel.
of a personality root.
Bees with benefits.
which Hummel's fine with
Hummel's
because
fine with
that's
that.
what Hummel's all about. Hummel's not about commitment and like staying with people.
He's a bard.
Yeah.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing soul, nothing at all.
But yeah, it was very fun being able to charm Petravian, and he's still under my charm for at least 15 more days.
Yeah. So
Sucks I'm not around him right now.
I am wondering whether or not Screwy interpreted alignment change to I'm changing my person's personality completely and like wanting evil things rather than I'm okay with evil things now.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a very complex thing.
I think it's hard to.
I think that his interpretation is valid.
I'm mostly in consideration of the Hummel thing. Like that, I just don't know what Petravian's actual thoughts are.
Yeah. So it's very interesting.
I mean, it shows that he still cares about Hummel, and that's all Hummel cares about.
Apparently, what was it? Curl is a to Petravian, and what was it?
Oh, the Levette?
What was Levette's? It was just like a grunt. It was like a weird animalistic grunt. And I couldn't ask about me because he was under a charm spell, so of course he'd be like, well, you're the best. So I was like, well, I can't get that answer out of you.
I thought
Yours is the best.
I thought you were going to get some more deets on Vera, just like how annoyed he is at like Vera holding back secrets from him and stuff, or something.
Riz doesn't really know that's a thing, though.
Oh no, I know. I'm saying I'm surprised that Petravian didn't say that.
Oh, Petravian didn't say anything. Yeah, that would have been a great opportunity to clue in the party more, because Riz is a fucking gossip, so...
I do think it's good that that Petravian, although acknowledging the crush on Vera, was also acknowledged the fact that it wasn't going to go anywhere and that he wasn't going to pursue it, which I think was sensible just from a game mechanics and a metagaming perspective as well as within the narrative. But I just realised that we missed out the key point that set us off in terms of the chains of light and the hold monster and all of that. The slap. Oh my god, the slap! You nearly killed Moira, dude. Good for you.
The slap of
Right,
87.
no, so you can't. You nearly deactivated Moira.
Yeah.
You can't kill something
killed is
that
a
which is
strong
not
term.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Moira's taken herself out of the party now.
You bastard.
And for an interesting reason too, because like the thing can be debated and say, oh, is it because Moira has self-preservation and she's afraid of dying, being around like someone who's dangerous to her? And the answer for that is no. Like it's not that she was afraid of dying; it's that she was afraid of disappointing Levette by not being around anymore. So like, if she died, it would make Levette sad. That's why she does it. So it's self-preservation for Levette's benefit, not for her own.
And it's
Well,
that's
she doesn't
important.
have self-preservation. She's a robot.
the
Yeah.
lack of self-preservation, which is exactly what Curler and Levette discussed several episodes prior. So it's kind of cool to see that going from theoretical to practical, and these are the ramifications.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she still wants to preserve her life, but it's only purely for Levette's benefit.
Poor Moira, though. I mean, seriously.
Well, she's not the Moira that Levette knew, though. Let's be honest. Like, this is just
Isn't
a
I-
fabrication.
Poor Moira bot. Poor
Yeah.
Moira bot.
It is technically like the optimal Moira to Levette. Like it's Levette's memories of Moira put back into
Right.
her.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
And
not like...
these were the memories that were like colored by Levette's attraction to
view.
Moira and her views toward Moira, and like what she wanted Moira to be, and that when she poured that into this robot, it's everything she wanted the person to be and nothing that she didn't. So it's not a realistic take on Moira because it never could be.
Mhm.
No one can be that dispassionate to be like, oh, this is the love of my life, but I'm going to make sure I program in all the things that pissed me off about this person too. They're not going to do that. They're going to forget about those things because love makes you blind to them. So she's only going to put in the things that she liked about Moira, and that's going to make this thing a little bit uncanny in reality. She's just
And
is
I-
only ever there to please her creator.
I know.
So I wasn't
Grem,
far off with the sex bot.
I know Grem has said before, like, oh, I hope she has, like, the secrets that Moira never told Levette. And I'm like, if Levette didn't know the secrets, how would the robot know it? It's not
Yeah, it's not
like a revival spell. This is just a
No.
robot.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it's a
possess
thing
her
you
soul.
created
Like
with
you,
your knowledge
if you
of the
don't
target.
know,
Yeah.
then it don't know.
It doesn't mystically get information that you don't have access to.
Mm-hmm. So
Even so, being mean to Moirabot is like, I don't know, yelling
was
at a Roomba
really
or
rough.
kicking a Roomba.
Yeah,
it's
it's just-
mean.
Don't hit Roombas.
Don't
That's
hit
just
Burr.
rude.
Don't hit Roomba. What?
what? I
What?
definitely didn't name my AI vacuum burr. That.
Oh, so you did.
Oh
Yes,
wait,
of
it's
course
on
you did.
the fucking wiki.
Oh, bless you for that. Oh, it is on the wiki too. Well,
It
bless
is
me
on
for
the
It's
that.
on the
wiki on
wiki?
Burr's page. I noticed
Yeah.
it the other day. I was
Wait,
like,
what now? It says our
Foaly
Roombas.
put it on there at some point.
Sometimes I
That's
think
good.
of the wiki.
Wonderful.
I don't know when. It's there.
We have fun on that wiki, and you know what? We had some fun last night too, as a segue into the shenanigans that ensued when Riz and Petravian decided that it would be a good idea to drop some Muse, and when Curler, ever loyal, decided that they didn't want Riz to go it alone.
The thing
Oh,
was,
dear.
like, what I was trying my best while he was in a charm spell was to make sure that he would never have to roll another fucking will save, because I know he'd break it. So I tried to be as complicit as possible and be like, oh my god, we're doing so many fun things, my dude. Yay! I hated every single minute.
I like that you did that, even though he is magically inclined to be your friend no matter what you did.
Well, yeah, but if I told him to do something that he didn't want to do, like that went against his nature, he would have a reroll.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
So that's why I was being complicit. I was like, I'm still gonna make him, like, be chill with, like, things, but I'm gonna try to make them fun so they're not against his nature.
Mm-hmm.
God,
Just
I
to babysit
was
him and
living in
occupy him.
hell.
Yeah.
Well, it made for some damn good comedy.
Yeah, it was very fun, actually, getting to do more facial acting chops with Riz to be completely uncomfortable with the situation, but trying their best to vocalize that everything was cool. Because they're just like, oh, yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah, while blazed off their skull and booping people and kissing their arms.
I don't. Blazed is more of like a weed term, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, like
Fritz?
for Muse,
I-
I usually just say hi because it's like
Hi.
you're
Okay.
elevated a little
Sure.
bit more, really excited,
Tripping.
and being well. Even then, it's not
Well, they're
really
not
tripping.
hallucinating, so that doesn't work either. You're
No,
right.
no,
Okay.
it's
fine.
not LCD or anything. Muse is just supposed to like.
LSD.
I do
LDS.
the drugs.
Fine.
It's not
Wonderful.
supposed to like give you illusions or anything. It's just supposed to make you really happy and stuff
Sure.
like that. And I was playing Riz, and I was like, Riz has never taken a single drug in their fucking life, as far as I know. So,
No, what is it? Biff gave you
oh my
drug
god,
tea.
he fucking gave me
Yes.
drugs, and that was a weird day too.
That was wonderful.
So I tried. Shut the fuck up, Reagan. I tried. I tried my best to kind of go through, and I'm like, what is someone who has barely had drugs in their life get this elevated version that is a very intense drug? The only reason like Soul was just kind of like just happy is because they had been taking Muse a lot by that point of the start of campaign 1 or season 1. And I wanted Riz to be a bit more extreme than just happy. Shut the fuck up. And that's why I tried to really oomph up their attitude and be super giggly and just go with the flow with everything. So I took away their inhibitions that they normally would have. I wanted them to be very much more honest with things. Because
Which was so charming.
yeah, they were more childlike because of it, and it was really hard acting it out because I'm like, this goes against everything I've done with this character. It feels so weird doing this.
But it was adorable.
Thank
and
you.
I think I responded to it. I think Curler definitely responded to it as well. I just enjoyed that. That was really good fun. It was great seeing
Yeah.
that side of Riz, and it was really interesting watching you playing that out and playing out those tensions between, as you said, Riz wanting to keep Petravian from breaking it, and then also really hitting every moment of it.
Yeah, it was a lot of going back and forth between a lot of emotions for me. Petravian, like, called something, He also pissed on Eden's seeds and said, "Fuck you."
Fuck you! Oh my god!
Oh my god.
I don't recall the pissing on the seeds.
No, didn't.
Oh, he didn't piss on the seeds?
No,
Oh,
No,
then
he
that's
did.
just what I thought he did.
no. He
Yeah,
just.
I was actually
It's even better.
No, he.
I was actually-
dug a hole.
Yeah, I was actually waiting for him to say he was going to piss on the seeds because I would have informed him that the plumbing was different and he would have made a mistake.
Oh, that's right. Oh shit. That would have been
That'd be
good.
funny.
Oh, I'm sad he didn't piss on them now.
Yeah, it was a missed opportunity again.
Oh my goodness. It's an episode of missed opportunity.
I feel really bad that like Vera has this super serious like getting ready for the ceremony moment, and we're all just fucking high. I just felt so bad. I was like, I'm sorry, Vera.
Why would you feel bad? It was boring. I'm just making incense.
Well, I don't know. I feel bad that we had to be weird around you.
Why?
I don't
That's
know.
wonderful.
I feel bad for Vera. I just am like, I'm sorry. You probably hate all of
Well,
this.
you're all fucking crazy.
You're crazy.
You knew
bitch.
that already, you know?
I'm gonna be right back. You guys keep going.
Okie dokie.
I will.
So-
I will say. There's also the point where Petravian tried to kiss Vera while they were high. And I was going to save this till later, but if that had worked, Vera would like grabbed him and then tried the augmented swarm skin there and then because they're pissed off, so they wouldn't feel bad about hurting him.
Although I love that you tried it anyway, because, you know, with any problem, when all you've got is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. When all you've got is bees, everything looks like it needs to be ripped apart into
Turned
bees.
into bees.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was wondering if that would work. Same thing with if it would have worked with the amalgamated Kurla Riz. Like, I don't know. It may have just turned both of you into bees for all I know.
Yeah, they're for all intents and purposes they are counted as a single creature for targeting spell effects, so they would have both turned into a swarm together.
Wonderful.
And then, had you actually done that, I probably would have flavored it differently, where it's like they would have both split into a swarm, and then when they came back together, they would have been amalgamated in a more cohesive way.
Ooh.
So they would have been more symmetrical.
Interesting.
So they would have had basically like a two-headed person.
Okay.
I honestly thought that Vera was going to try to solve the problem not so much with that as with using their razor sharp
That was the
scythe
that
to
was the
cut
second
them.
option.
Yeah, and that's the very painful way to split them apart. But
It was definitely worth a shot though, and it was
It was
fun
a
to
good
watch
idea.
Petra
I mean,
turn
for
into
sure,
bees
they were-
again.
yeah, it was a great idea on your part, Vera, getting those getting the swarm shape stuff.
Yeah, you're very creative, I think, when it comes to like solutions.
I will say I'm very glad that we augmented that spell because it's completely useless to Vera, like as its
Yeah.
base, because it's
That's
literally
true.
a worse swarm form because it leaves
pretty
behind
much.
everything. So I think it's really cool that we augmented it so that it has all this utility. It's really fun. It's like a
Well,
little trick.
Despite that not working though, obviously the extremely overpriced incense ceremony did work.
Oh. So here's the thing: is that if I wasn't originally going to have it, I was going to have the homemade, the homemade stuff because I didn't need it until he said "fuck you" to Eden, in which case he deliberately like misaligned himself, which requires 2,500 gold worth of incense. So I'm like, I'm not going to waste this spell and not have it work.
Yeah.
I
Just
want to
made
see
it a lot more
Vera
expensive
present.
for himself.
I want to see Vera present Petravian with an invoice at the end of this. It's like, right, here we are. Really nice
This
parchment.
is what you
open it
owe
up.
the hive.
Seriously.
No,
But we got Petra back.
It's not happening though. That's
Yeah, so you got Petra's mind back, because Petra's body is still
I mean, that's.
fucked up.
I feel like that's the most important part though, like because we can deal with like whatever.
We
Yeah,
Physically
you'll
have
deal
it.
with the
Potter-
shape-shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll deal with the shapeshift curse as long as you need to.
It
You'll
was
get that
the
fixed eventually.
unpredictability and not knowing what would have happened
That's
with
chaotic evil.
chaotic evil
Yeah,
Petravian.
exactly.
We couldn't just
Riz
get
was
stoned
done.
every day.
One
or high
day.
every day, rather.
One day
one day
Riz was
enough.
done.
One morning.
Just like, please get this off of my back. I can't do this again.
But we got Petravian's mind back, and then we got out of the isthmus.
Mary Isthmus.
Of
Mary
Golgotha.
Isthmus.
Without, as Keni noted on our notes for the episode, without meeting the Kadali.
No
At all.
Kadali!
Oh my
At
god.
At
all.
all.
You're right.
Yeah.
Shit.
They well, like I said before, they leave the bigger caravans alone. They go after easy pickings.
Interesting.
I'm so
I mean, I
sad.
love that we went easy pickings, but at the same time, it's a shame we didn't meet the lizard people.
Oh.
There's
I
always
want to
next
ask
time.
them how they run the world secretly.
Yeah, we have to go back and everything, so at some point.
At some
Yeah.
point.
Like, might have to go over to do their backstory for all we know, so.
Ooh.
Depending
true.
on what Petravian
If
finds out.
Petravian says anything and is like, oh, I gotta do a job over in this area over here. What a coinky dink. It involves something of your backstory there. I
But,
did back to backstories though.
Yeah.
I got to finally see Kurla's arms.
you did, yes.
I know Kurla had told Riz before that they, like, just during a heart-to-heart a long time ago, that they had bit on themselves for a long time to kind of curb hunger.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was very interested when he pulled the sleeve back. I was like, oh, I gotta hear what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know if I did a good job describing it, but
I think so.
well, thank you. Yeah, basically, it's all of the times that Kurla would have been feeding on themselves to kind of curb that as they were coming to grips with their appetites, but then also like their first efforts to heal that and the effects on their skin. So some of it healing well, some of it not healing well at all, and getting weird effects. Like some of it will look human, some of it will look completely orcish because obviously they're half orc, and then also I kind of touched on it a little bit, but just marks from the restraints when they were pulled. When they were caught and kind of put in for public shaming before they escaped the village, but that's all just, yeah. It was cool to show that, because, I mean, that was kind of the last secret thing about Kurla, was that why they never show their sleeves, or their neckline for that reason, because they have all sorts of that weirdness. But at the same time,
How did you feel about the arm kiss?
I was too high for it to
No,
really register.
you as the player.
As a player, I was delighted because I love the fact that they're growing closer together, and I'm really curious to see where it goes. And it's just cute. It's so cute, and like two really awkward as fuck people.
I'm so
basically
fucking
both-
old. I don't know how to people.
Yeah, both kind of like ace and aromantic, and like.
Well,
And
Riz
yet-
is demisexual. I very
Okay.
much so like bringing that up where I'm like, oh, they're in kind of an asexual spectrum, but they are very much so demisexual, where it's very much so a personality thing for them.
Okay.
And they've just never found anyone who was that for them before.
Which is. It's sweet. I'm genuinely curious to see where things are going, and I'm glad that we also talk about this like behind the scenes, so we can. Oh, beg pardon, I hit my microphone there. So we can make sure that wherever it does go, we're both comfortable as players, figuring it out. So, but
Also,
yeah, I was delighted to get to it. It was a nice because I mean, it's Riz accepts Kurla. Kurla has revealed even more of themselves, that
accepted
vulnerability,
Kurla,
and Riz
like,
has.
Early on, though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
episode 0.
And like, so it's only like episode 0 of campaign 2.
Well, 30 episodes for Kurla to fully appreciate that and fully
Technically
invest in it.
31 for Kurla.
Fair enough.
I'd like to mention, Scuriez mentioned that Petravian almost touched the horse.
That's true. We were close to having a horse touch, but I thought we were getting signals from the DM to not do that during because of the faces
100%.
he was making. So I was like, oh, I shouldn't do this. I should stop Petravian. Okay, that's fine.
I was excited to see where it was going, and I wasn't trying to ward you off from doing anything.
I thought you were trying to do the you can try that wink wink like you shouldn't do
Yeah,
this kind of thing.
I was definitely getting the Petravian will die instantly if he
you
does
do
this.
Yeah,
Like,
so I
facial.
thought you were trying to like hint us that like
Look,
this was a terrible
the
idea.
biggest danger for touching the horse is what Riz is going to do to you for touching the horse.
I was high.
I always thought it was the biggest danger was like bad shit will happen that Riz couldn't quite put their finger on, but knows that bad shit will happen.
Yeah.
So
That
maybe
makes
the
sense.
bad shit that will happen is that Riz will react, but not in a way that Riz knows.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, now I want to touch the damn horse. Fuck it.
Do you
Everyone
actually?
should.
No, because I've
Just the horse.
seen what the horse actually is, and it looks like the eye of an angry god, and I'm terrified of it. It's a rip in space and time. It's not a fun horse.
Then we also had Pyrrha, which was interesting. Also, naked Pyrrha. That was funny.
Yeah,
Goodness.
Levette. Did all of us see Vera's naked body for the first time now? I can't remember if Curla was in the room yet.
Levette
I don't
wasn't
think I was in the
there?
room.
It was Levette and Riz who were just trying to drink tea and just being like,
Or yeah, sorry, Curla wasn't there.
I think Curla was still in their room.
Like, get back in there.
But yeah, it was just like, tea.
For God's sake, cover yourself up.
I did
Cover
like
your shame.
Are you okay with this? I'm like, I've seen myself naked before.
Yeah.
Between
That was really quick and really well done. That was a
God,
great
your fucking wit is just so fast sometimes. Like I said, Vera's like my favorite when it comes to like comedy. And it's not even like comedy. It's so weird.
It's just
like, I don't-
dry humor.
It's just dry humor, but like I live for that shit. Like actual good dry humor.
So, as I said, we are in Oxidor finally, and we got to see the Oxidor map, or at least the parts
Part
of it,
of it,
that are
yeah.
Terra Cognita.
I'm so happy.
That's so cool. And
I want to see more of it. I want the complete map. Because I can't put it as my desktop like other side until I get a complete one.
No, I gotta actually finish it first. So there's
hey,
that.
what we've seen of it is fascinating, and it has interesting implications. Like I was updating the wiki off, shameless plug for the wiki, off the place names on it, and you mentioned, not all of this is considered Protoss, and I'm like, okay, because we only knew that the Protean Empire and the Jungle of Koth for the orcs were on Oxidor. What else is on Oxidor that we've never heard of yet?
I talk to
Fascinating.
Beardy way too much, I think, because I'm
Yeah,
just like,
I'm-
obviously there'd be more places than just that on this continent. I'm sitting here like, and I've seen like the original sketch for it, like the on bulletin board paper. What's the word for that kind of paper?
Poster board.
On
Yeah.
poster
I've got it
board
right over
paper.
here.
Yeah.
Grumble.
Shall I grab it?
Yes. Show us off. Show it off. Show it off. Go ahead.
Alright, 1 second.
Grumble. Yeah, you've seen it all. You know
Of
all
course.
of it
Well,
already.
I've been to Beardy's place like a million fucking times. I've seen like other continents too. Listen. When you help this bitch brainstorm from time to time, you get a little extra information.
Listen.
I get that.
Listen.
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 Risen?
Listen.
What's up, fuckers?
What's up, motherfuckers? How we doing today?
Oh
I'm
god, what?
gonna pop.
Got a little ooda.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
The poster
Here
board.
it comes.
Is he actually going to show us the side that has writing on it, though? That's
Well,
the question.
that's the funny part. You're not going to
Yeah.
be able to see it.
Yeah, it's all pencil.
It's all pencil.
It's all pencil. I made this when I was like 14 or something.
It's amazing.
That's wonderful. That's
So
cute.
no, I was older than that. When I made these maps, these were probably only 10 years old. So here is one that you might all recognize.
Let's see if we can
this
see
is-
anything.
If you can see anything,
Just
you probably
paper.
can't. Right?
Oh yeah, I recognize
Wow.
that. Yeah, I've seen
You
that
can see
many
any of it.
times.
Is that Vil right there?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the camera's pulling up.
Not
here,
a
but let me
lot.
see.
Absolutely nothing on my.
It's probably pulling up nothing. Oh yeah, very
Yeah.
very little.
Pencil
So-
with paper on camera. just
Pencil
does
and paper
not
on
work.
camera just doesn't work for shit. So that's the Iron Mountains.
Mm.
That is.
The Free States?
Yeah. So there's the Isle of Steam there.
Yeah.
There's the Free States are here. That's Zelnorifkev's tower in the Merry Valley is right here. You've got Cidervale, Daraham, Parthenay. So you've got the whole Obador right there.
That's amazing.
So that's
why I
that
was
one.
like, oh, you should definitely show the map because you can't fucking see it on
Now
camera.
this one's a lot darker. So this one you can actually be able to see a bit better.
Oh, look at that.
So
Screen
this
grab
is
that.
actually the northern continent.
Yeah,
this is the one you
I'm
never been
familiar
to.
with.
Nice.
So this one is a bit different.
You gotta let it focus. There
There we
it
go.
goes.
So there's various things on here. There's a giant iron, the mountain chain there. There's a huge swamp where all of the Kadali live.
Yeah.
There's the ruins of old Izmir there. New Proto is right there. So all kinds of stuff up here, and then
One day I hope we'll have a campaign in the northern continent.
yeah, very possible. And then the other one, Oxidor, is right here. And this is one that again is on the different kind of board that you probably can't see.
I think I can see even less of that one than I could of the first one.
Yeah, it's pretty damn faint. So it's
Beautiful.
fine. But this is the Protean Empire and Pyrgos. So, and you can see a lot of the older revisions, which just for hints here, just so you know how much I've reorganized the world's layout from when I made these.
Mm-hmm.
The Deadlands are right here.
The Deadlands used to be an
that's
Oxidor?
right.
Yeah, the Deadlands used to be an Oxidor in
Just
the
off
original.
the isthmus?
Is that where the blight is?
That's what the Blight is now. Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's going on the
So
wiki.
that was a retooling of the world layout over time, because as I put stuff together, I've changed how certain things work.
Because I know that you drew this for me at one point, like this kind of area, because I know like way west of here, there's a giant forest, correct?
Mhm.
And because that's where the colony is, if I recall,
Yep.
for
Yep.
Calyptra.
Yep.
Who knows where it
Calyptra's
is?
colonies on the west coast of Oxidor.
You guys really are siblings, just being like on opposite ends. Cults, am I right?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
What?
But I am so happy to have at least a part of the Oxidor map, because we've been waiting so long to see it. And I'm really excited to see more of it.
It's the first time you guys have ever left your home continent map.
I
So
know.
yeah, it's kind of a big deal, right? Pretty crazy.
Yeah. And as soon as you get it finished, it will be my second screensaver.
Yeah, you'll have your dual monitor set up.
Yeah.
With each continent on
I'm
it.
so stoked.
So
And then,
yeah,
you know, delightful creepy doll following Petravian around because, you know, I don't know why he fucking grabbed it.
I am excited for this doll.
well, I know you're all really worried about Petravian like being having to rescue Petravian, right?
Not really worried.
But I just want you to know that like he won't be alone.
Oh, fuck.
Never alone.
He'll never be alone again.
my God.
I'm just hoping for the escalation of this doll until it starts stabbing him in his sleep. So
I am concerned that we're not going to be rescuing Petravian. We're just going to be rescuing Blue in Petravian form. Sorry about that background noise there. Because
Yeah, he
know.
stopped talking to Blue again.
that's concerning.
Well, I mean, he's getting trained apparently subtly in between days, but I don't actually
Yeah.
know how that process is going.
But like trained, maybe don't train your dangerous slime monsters.
Maybe don't adopt a dangerous slime monster just because it's cute and goes blue.
It's true. It's cute, though.
So
Don't
we
level up the monsters. Got it. Got it.
so we get to the fort. It's the 12th Legion, I believe.
Yes.
Oh.
12th Legion.
Excellent. My God,
Yep.
I actually remembered it. The
Yep, Keepers of the
shield.
Gate.
The Keepers
Yep.
of the Gate, beg pardon.
Yep.
And we will have to sign in to the country, show our identification, get sort of lesser geas put on us.
A bunch of bricks.
A bunch of bricks. There's damn bricks instead of the
Those
meat
damn
where
bricks.
the fun is.
Yeah. Mhm.
But unfortunately, someone decided to tell a little fib to the immigration authorities and got pulled into the back for extra ICE screening.
Yep. In an area that had like heavy truth discerning magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Sit down in
not-
front of the lie detector.
Well,
Tell us who you are.
the thing was, it seemed like Petravian knew that was going to be the case, so I was actually surprised that he was lying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wouldn't he have known about that?
He seemed to know about it, where he was talking to Levette and
He
was
never
like, no,
had-
I have to put my name down.
He never had to be processed that way before because he was a citizen.
Gotcha.
And he never hung out with the bricks, so you know. Why would
Yeah,
he
and the
know?
bricks.
He was
Fuck
he
the
was meat.
bricks.
Fuck the bricks.
Like, he didn't deal with that shit. He had stuff to do. He was meat.
Neat.
He got to go marching and take over shit and fight things.
I'm very curious to see where this goes, the screening process, and just how they interrogate him, and we will never see it.
We'll never see it. I mean, I
Upset.
assume Beardy's going to give us a flashback once we save Petravian.
Nah.
No? Oh, shit.
Nah.
We'll just find him as he is, beat up
Can,
and
you can,
bruised and
it can
shit.
live in your imagination forever.
That's hot. I mean, what?
If Westrum is like beaten to hell, we'll know that.
Yeah, you're gonna
I have an
find him,
idea.
and it's like he's looks completely different because of course he would, and he's all just covered in bruises and broken teeth.
Ugh.
He fell
Honestly,
a few times.
I'm kind of interested in, like, a rescue Petravian mission, because when Petravian first joined us in Season 1, I don't think we would have cared as much.
Wow.
So it would have been like, oh, the babysitter's gone. Darn.
I mean, I don't know. You already saved him from prison once.
That's true. They did do that.
When
And
was
then he
that?
was very mean about it.
Uh,
Well, I mean, Soul was mean, but they're also a teenager.
Oh, also, Bear wasn't the one that was imprisoned first.
That's true.
Yes,
my
well
bet
done.
was wrong. I lost the bet.
My bet was Petravian, so I win.
A prison break might be in the future, or just
Honestly,
dealing
though,
with protean bureaucracy might be in the future. Sorry, you were
speaking of the ICE or whatever this was, I was surprised that Risen's name took, because I didn't know if it would take on the paper, because I don't actually know if Risen's name is Risen's name.
But does Riz believe that's their name?
Yeah, I think so. So
Then that's the truth.
that's what I was wondering, because I was like, if that's what you absolutely think is that.
But that's what defines what truth is. If you
Okay.
say something and you believe it,
So
it's
it's
your
a
truth.
lie detector.
Yes.
Isn't that how you beat lie detectors? By convincing yourself that what you're telling is to the lie
Yes.
detector is
Exactly.
true. You just have
Mhm.
to, yeah.
See, all of mine would come out as lies because I'd just be very nervous the entire time. I'd be like, I don't know. Okay.
That's right. That's right, Riken. Soul is almost an
I
adult.
am almost an adult, thank you very much. In fact,
Keep-
I'm dressed as an adult currently in this world that I'm in.
And that's all you really need. You just need to
You
be
keep
dressed as
telling
an
yourself
adult.
that. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
I mean, I accidentally made myself look older than the guy I'm trying to romance, so... I thought he was older, okay?
Is he into that?
Not by... We look the same for years once we hit adulthood. Like, it's not gonna
So,
change much.
In terms of the proteans, Beardy, we were talking a little bit before this as a group before we started, and you mentioned something, quite a nice phrase that I liked. I think was yours. Someone called it that, but utilitarian racism was the way you described the proteans and their attitudes towards outsiders, and you said that was particularly relevant to Screwy and his backstory. Did you want to touch on that for a moment?
Sure. I'll explain what I was talking about before. So, Petravian's backstory, there was a couple of things that he mentioned about like why he left the Legion, which I'm not here to divulge his backstory if he hasn't already, but I thought he already did.
The one about,
Screwy,
like,
if
his
you-
halfling friend?
Yes.
Yeah, he talked about... Mostly with Levette and Karis, I think, in a Yes Please episode.
But like
No
specifically why he left the Legion.
Because... This
Did
is
he kill
just
someone?
off of memory for me.
Yeah.
This is what I'm remembering. They were ordered to attack a halfling village for some
Okay,
reason.
Cool. So I'll speak to that. So he wrote that into his backstory. Like that was just what he gave me, and it's like I've taken the backstory document, I'm reading through it, and I'm like I'm trying to make sense of how this would fit into the world, knowing what I know about the Proteans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's odd to me that they would just attack a halfling village for no reason because they're not really dangerous. And it's like, I guess, but if they're going to be utilitarian racists and they don't see that halflings have any value, then, you know, expunging them from their territory might actually make sense for them. So it was a way to, it was
What?
almost a way to explain away like why they would just randomly attack halflings because they just don't see them having any intrinsic value. Because to go back to the original thing, utilitarian racism in the case of Proteans have to do with them viewing races as having specific value based on what they can do for the Empire, right? They don't hate a race because it's different. They hate other races that they don't find value in. So they'll exterminate something they can't control, right? If there's a race of beings that are powerful but they can't control them, they're dangerous and need to be destroyed. If they can be easily exploited, then they're going to take control of them. Like certain races are maybe more ferocious. Like say an orc or a half-orc might have a racial disposition toward being a ferocious, difficult.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
They might have a disposition to be a good combatant. Like they might be better at melee fighting. So they're going to basically try to get these people and try to press them into service to be meat shields for them in their army, and serve in special orc legions or orc cohorts within legions, which they would have, right? They have these foreign cohorts that they'll put into service for specialist things. Same goes in their society. Like if there's something that requires a lot of cerebral calculation, they'll press gnomes into service for that. So they're utilitarian racists.
Well, it served them pretty well up until the whole Deadlands incident and having to withdraw.
Yeah, I mean, when you get that big and that powerful and you get that far from your homeland and you fight another force that is really, really advanced in their own right, and you essentially have 2 10th level spells explode on each other, it definitely sent shockwaves through their society and caused a major political collapse within Proto, which caused them to begin their contraction as an empire.
And we're going to get to see some of that and learn about that firsthand.
Yeah,
you're gonna get excited.
You're gonna get to Proto and see the Grand City
I'm
for
ready
yourselves.
for hot Romans.
Hot Roman boys.
Hot Roman boys. I'm excited for Hummel actually.
Yeah,
I think Hummel's gonna have a great day.
Yeah, Hummel might ask permission from Vera to have a body day.
Yeah.
It's like, come on,
I
just
wanna suck
just one
some
night,
dicks.
just one night. Like, absolutely not.
You say hot Roman boys, and I have to do a quick divergence. When I was doing Latin, there was a passage translation, and the correct translation of it was that the boys got out of the hot bath, and unfortunately it was sufficiently uncertain that the way I translated it was that the hot boys got out of the bath, which was a little bit awkward in my classroom. But having to translate that out loud, I didn't live that one down for the rest of the year. I was like, oh yeah, the hot boys got out of the bath. Oh, for flip's sake.
But it could be true though.
It was up there with the man throwing the chest of drawers out of the burning apartment building. Well, no, it was the chest of drawers throwing the man out of the window of the burning apartment building. That was another fun sentence. But anyway, I am blathering on when we haven't talked about possibly the most important aspect of this last episode.
The sub-story?
The sub-story with the one and only Chisels.
Oh
So
my
good.
God. He was living his best life.
It was masterful. And Petrafian ruined it. He destroyed his... And it happens every time. This poor, tortured beast.
He was just in a beautiful glade. He was about to find the woman of his dreams. Whisked away because I said you should summon Chisel.
Chisel's backstory. It revealed why he's such a... Yeah.
Top 10 anime
It's like
betrayals.
every time I try to find someone to love me, I just get taken away and brought to this place.
And forced to
get
attack
suplexed.
things.
Yeah.
For helping out, I get suplexed.
By God, Chisel is cursed. Petrafian is Chisel's curse.
The thing is, I can completely see this in, a cartoon episode where we're cutting back to this fucking scene, and, we're all distressed, and it's this beautiful, violins and piano area, and the flowers, and it's all got bloom effect for Chisel's area. It's beautiful. And we're just, disdained and assholes getting high. It also has a bloom effect on that part, though, because everything's colorful.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the saturation is cranked all the way
It's
to
all the
maximum.
way. It hurts your eyes to look at.
You made us feel for Chisel.
Yeah.
I did it. I succeeded.
We care about him for an episode. Yay!
We'll be back to applauding him getting suplexed.
I didn't
Yeah.
applaud him
Yeah.
getting suplexed.
I did.
But it was great. I did.
Oh, I
was
just
wonderful.
all I saw was this is a terrible idea.
It's gonna have
This is gonna have
consequences.
consequences. All I see are consequences constantly.
Full life consequences. Free
I'm-
man.
I'm
you
calling
go.
it now. Chisel will end up betraying us by the end of the season. It'll Who is responsible for this?
Chisel will betray you to the big bad evil guy.
So, you know...
Tell the party it was me. I want them to know. Snort.
There was something that I had said during season 1, actually. I think halfway through it, I told Beardy, you know what? I think if anyone was going to betray the party, I have a feeling it'd be Levette. And it never happened, and I thought it was going to actually happen in the underground section of our game. But it never did, and it's always surprised me because I was like, man, I swore this person was going to betray us, like, really early on in this entire campaign, and it never happened. And hearing Chisel be the one who would do it, it's so fucking dumb.
That's
It's
perfect.
so fucking dumb.
This is for suplexing me, you bastard.
So I guess I have a question. That we've gotten a little bit further in the campaign, so I guess I'll ask. Who do you think the big bad evil guy is?
I don't fucking know.
I don't know, but I have like a couple of guesses.
Okay, what's your guess?
Okay.
What's your best guess?
So I think whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
back in the Deadlands.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when we were nearer to that's when we got all our nightmares. And besides Risen, we haven't really gotten any nightmares.
Yeah.
So I feel like that very particularly has something to do with Ville area.
Mm-hmm.
I also worry that it might have something to do with Riz constantly. Just because there's too many unknowns about Risen, I worry about it.
That it's like a suppressed second personality inside Riz as the big bad evil
No,
guy?
not like Screwy's fucking theory. No, I don't think it's like actively a thing that's happening. I don't think it would actively happen until the end of the story, to be honest. That's my gut feeling. If that were to be the case.
Someone who is wronged, perhaps?
Like, I think
I
of a
can't remember
sleeper
wronging.
agent or some shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
Could be a case. But I think it has something to do with the Deadlands. It has something to do with Marcus because of all the lost souls, obviously. Whatever created Marcus to be around Vera and the rest of us has something to do with like being the big bad. And I'm really sad that we haven't like been able to like be in contact with this character yet. There's so many more unknowns about this thing compared to when we had Glarv.
Right, because Glarv was very much up in your face, like, haha, I'm better than you, I'm going to beat you.
Yeah, because around like
I don't think you
was
even.
it episode 30 where we met Glarv? Like around that time period is when we met
and you
him
had the
for
whole
first
whole
time.
dinner party sequence, yeah.
Oh, that was a stressful day.
The master shows up, like there's like a bolt of lightning, and all the servants are like, "Oh, the master's back,"
I was not
and y'all are
okay.
just like, "Fuck." Oh, good times.
Yeah, it was episode 38 is when we met Glarv. So I've got 8 more episodes before I'm gonna be like, Beardy, where's my big bad?
Because we
Yeah,
haven't
right?
really,
Because I mean,
we haven't really got any hints really since we left the Deadlands
Yeah.
at all. I don't think
yeah.
that I know of.
Yeah, I
Well,
have
I
no
mean, that's the
theories.
idea, is that your big bad evil guy is somehow behind the expansion of the Deadlands, and it's somehow also behind the Lost Souls.
No, I forget who was the
So-
one that was holding the banner.
That was the
That was-
13th Legion's leader, right?
Yeah, it was the 13th Legion commander.
Okay.
Well, a commander of the 13th Legion, not their general, but a commander.
So,
So
cui bono? Who benefits from
yeah,
the
from
Deadlands
the expansion of the Deadlands. Yeah. Who benefits from the Deadlands expanding and taking over the entire planet? Like, if undead control everything, who wins?
Don't make me think it's Terrace, you dumb bitch.
That's interesting.
Don't make me guess Terrace.
That's
because he was
interesting,
very
yeah.
upset that like he gave me hints.
Hmm.
Don't.
I guess we'll find out.
Because I know we've been facing a lot of skeletons and I've been pushing that idea away. Don't make me go against
Gosh,
one of
wouldn't
the
it be strange
gods.
if the big bad evil guy for this campaign was a god? Wouldn't that be strange? In a campaign about gods with a character
Well,
that is
see,
super
that's
into
the
the
thing.
gods
We've
and a
been
character
doing-
that
I think
desperately hates
I
the
think
gods.
it's a fucking elder being, though. I think it's a fucking elder being because we have.
There's so few left though.
But that's the thing. If it's like a death elder being, then it would still kind of be dormant, maybe. Like,
Screwy thinks
it's
Owen.
not Owen. I'm gonna tell you that.
Oh, we do have
He's a
that
good-
exiled god.
Oh, the exiled god?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that's
who knows?
underneath the like all the rubble and stuff.
Oh yeah, in the mountain.
The one that
Yeah.
is Mellifera's like
Mellifera's like,
enemy.
Yeah.
was like, this dude was no good. That'd be weird.
That'd be weird.
guess we'll
Alright,
find out.
wouldn't that be weird?
Possibility too. But because this campaign has been so heavily about elder beings, like we had that witch hunger, we have Mellifera, we're going into Calyptra's story now. I think it might be an elder being of some kind. Like,
Okay, but I
it's
mean,
been
how many are
very
left?
Who knows?
There's so few.
if we
There's
could
like
revive Mellifera,
3?
if we could revive Mellifera,
I think there's only 3 left. I think.
Deep One,
Yeah.
Mellifera, and that witch hunger.
That which hungers.
Wait, Calyptra's dead?
Who knows?
In the same way that Mellifera was dead. Yeah.
Well,
But
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. What if it's like that and they're trying to get god powers? I mean, they were literally trying to get the items that was gonna revive Mellifera. So like,
then
the
they
old
use
ones
them-
are returning. This is
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe it's the beginning of the return of the old ones. Which, and if that's the case, then what was the most powerful old one?
First of all, check please. The Return of the Old Ones needs to be a subtitle on at least one campaign.
for
so
this season,
yeah.
maybe.
And also like that's our movie that we do between seasons.
That's
I thought that's
like,
what
But
happens
yeah,
when we,
you know,
like, come back in
if
20.
it's an old one, then and it's trying to bring back the age of the old ones, then that would have to be like set, wouldn't it?
I don't
But
know.
none of them
that
have-
just seems off.
none of the primals have anything to do with like the undead, though, right?
Well,
Right,
his
or with the
disease-
Deadlands in general.
Well, as far as we know, those are the ones that we know of. Who knows how many other primals there were that have been lost to history?
Oh,
That's what I'm
dozens.
thinking.
Dozens. Yeah. And Set
Like-
ate them all.
This is one of the few worlds that still has primal gods that Riz has told you guys about. They call it a baby world for that reason, because most of them die out. There's still, like, resonance from all of these.
Yeah, so Slanic.
Echoes of creation, yeah.
That's the
I
one
mean,
couldn't remember,
I think it'd
Slanic.
be cool to see Slanic. That'd be cool.
I think so too. Well, we will see.
Yeah.
As you said, Kenny, we've got 8
Time will tell.
episodes until we hit
Yeah,
where
that's when
season
we
1
meet our
was.
big bad, right?
when
Yeah,
Glav
so I have
made
7
their
more
appearance.
episodes before I have to introduce the big bad evil guy. Okay.
Ticking
Noted.
clock. Well, when you do, we'll certainly be
pressure.
talking about
No
it here, though.
pressure. So, I think that's all of it for today's talking points about the last 2 episodes. I thought this was a really great checkpoint. Personally, I had a lot of fun talking about both instances that swam into each other pretty well. We have theories for you, Beardy. Whether or not you'll take them, that's up to you. Vroom vroom.
I'm sorry, it's just really busy over on this
There's
plane.
so many bees.
That's one of my favorite jokes that I left in was with the Mellifera voice mod on, just the car in the background.
Yeah.
So
There's
good.
a lot of disturbance over here.
It's really busy over here.
So, next week we will have another episode of Check Please at a regular time on Saturday to save Petravian. I
Yeah,
guess.
fuck him.
You try it.
We can
Welcome to
try.
try.
We're at least gonna try to get to him.
Yeah.
Are we-
We'll see. We might.
Can we discuss that first? No, we'll try and save him.
We'll see.
We wouldn't leave you alone with
Let's
immigration
be
and
honest.
customs enforcement.
No
It's great.
matter what, Vera would go alone if they had to.
That's true. That's your sibling.
Alright.
Yeah,
Petravian's not alone. Petravian has a creepy doll.
that's true.
Ugh. I don't like it.
Creepy doll saves the day.
We'll have a regular scheduled Check Please episode minus Screwy because we gotta go save his character. And then we'll have Checkpoint probably as planned the next day unless something comes up. But until then, we hope to see you guys next time. And we hope you have a great week. Thank you all for rolling with us. See you guys next
Thank you all so
time.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.